how do we get here then, eh? Oh, it was going so well. It was. For months. It would look nice. It looked like we finally found an idea, some continuity, a system where we could maybe feel a little bit safer, you know? Not just high-risk transitional football where you could throw away victory or you know, grab defeat from the drawers of victory or however the expression goes. It did look okay, yeah? The first half of the season, Cole Palmer, believe it or not, was on to break his last record-breaking season in terms of how positive his stats were and the momentum. Will it look like the injury problems were sorted out? You know, of course, Lavia and Fofana's continued, but it looked like the Reece James solution had finally come to pass, and that, you know, the record-breaking amount of injuries last season, that was a thing of the past. We were feeling good. We were feeling good, you know? We were enjoying the fact how soon new South American superstars were to join Chelsea. And when you're winning and you're near the top of the league, you're allowed to be excited about stuff like that. You know, your Esteval, Williams, Piers', you know, Penders, Kenders of this world, all those guys. You're allowed to be excited about it. Heck, you're even allowed to be positive about what's going on about Strasbourg, over at Strasbourg, shall I say. Granted, Strasbourg fans have every right to be upset with the Chelsea ownership of their club, regardless of how good they're performing. But, you know, from a selfish perspective, I can enjoy the fact how the club that is there ultimately to benefit us is doing well. You know, Santos looks great. Great loan for him. Petrovic looks great. Probably shouldn't have loaned him. And then it all changed, right? For me personally, my lowest point this season, and yes, this is one of these videos. For me personally, my lowest point this season was the two Brighton games, the two Brighton away games, the losses, elimination from the cup, and loss in the league, I believe. That for me was my turning point, my like personal. I mean, yesterday was the nadir, you know, losing to Legia Warsaw in the Europa League conference, yeah. But for me, that Brighton, because we were in poor form by that point with those Brighton defeats, but for me personally, that was my, wow, this sucks moment. And that was a while ago now, yeah. The only double we've done this season is over Ange Postecoglou, which is pretty funny in itself, but things are not good. 14th and 15th place, Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. As much as everyone's been laughing at them, quite rightly, as the ultimate crisis clubs, they could both end the season much better than December Premier League title challengers Chelsea. Because, you know, Man United had an amazing comeback in the Europa League yesterday. It was very exciting, actually. I did a video on it on the second channel, which is a blessing sometimes, the second channel, because it means I don't have to be miserable about Chelsea. I get to talk about other footballing topics, if you're interested. It's called Football Yannick. Do go check it out. And they could win Tottenham or Man United, or maybe Athletic Club, but Tottenham United could win the Europa League. Great trophy to win. You know, I'm one of these people that I'd actually quite like to win the conference. Only once. Now we're in it. We'll get onto that in a moment. But, you know, both Man United and Tottenham can have a significantly better season than Chelsea, getting Champions League and winning a trophy. So, that's how bad things are. We're going to speak about Maresca. Does he need to go? But a little bit more context before we navigate to this important question. Look, I know lots of Chelsea fans have been miserable about being in the Conference League. Now more than ever, which is quite funny really, isn't it? Because like you're in the knockouts, you're in the semi-final, and people are more miserable about being in it than when we had qualified for it last season, which is funny. Because at this point, you're supposed to be into it. And like, yeah, it's a trophy, we're at the arse end, it could be great. But I get it, by the way, I'm not criticising it. I totally understand it and see it. My position maintains the same. I'm about to go into it, don't worry. These young players, the bad performance, the management, it's coming, don't worry. But yeah, I need to like be consistent. My position remains the same. I quite like the fact how we've got the opportunity to win the Conference League with a very young, inexperienced side that's not used to winning, that's not used to lifting trophies, and it's just a good first step. traveling around Europe, playing teams from different cultures, harsh atmospheres, which we've seen from the conference. You'll get that in the Champions League, the Europa League as well. And an experience and lifting a trophy. We can still potentially win the Conference League. And the fact I've even just said that sentence has blown my mind. And it gives you every piece of context needed. Chelsea, of course, insanely heavy favourites to win the Conference League. We're playing some team in the semi-final. I don't even know how to pronounce their name. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. And I'm not saying it to be funny. I'm just saying I genuinely don't know who they are, where they're from. I haven't looked up yet. But I saw a name somewhere, and that's it, bro. The thing is, should we get to the final, touch wood, ruddy heck, yeah, nothing's a given anymore with this Chelsea team, then it will be a tough game, because it will be Betis or Fiorentina, and they are two sensible teams, especially, Betis have been in great form since January. You know who hasn't been in great form since January? Chelsea. So we could lose. We could absolutely lose that final. Yeah. And these players, they should learn from losing their... they've won it. The thing is, I'm also we'd won every single Conference League game. Yeah. So people take the mick out of Chelsea for being in it, but fair play. You won every single game. You've got a 100% winning record. No draws, only wins, averaging over 3 goals a game. And oddly, that became a stick to beat Chelsea with. Oh, look how well you're doing in the Conference League. You knobs. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like if we had a few draws in there, a few narrow wins, they'd respect a better win down the line. But it's almost like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But yeah, 100% win record every single game, over 3 goals per game on average. Until now. A massively damaging loss at home to 5th place Polish league side. Yeah, really, really bad. With a really strong team. So we could absolutely lose the Conference League final to a very good team in Fiorentina or Betis. I mean, lots of good teams could lose to them in a one-game knockout final in a neutral ground where it probably means way more to the opposition than it does to your fans, and they'll be backing them more and chanting them more. And their team, no matter what level of quality or how expensively they've been assembled, there'll be... I'll put the farm on them being more senior, older, and more experienced professional footballers than whatever Chelsea team goes out there. So we could absolutely lose. We could finish 8th and be back in the conference next season. That could happen. So, but it leads to the question. We are on the precipice of disaster. Now, I am not a hyperbolic fan. Many of you who have watched me for a long time know that. Everyone's got their opinions. You can criticize me. I've been criticized for being negative, and then I've been criticized for being positive. I take it as part of being a YouTuber. I try and be methodical at least. And if I find I'm getting wound up by other people's takes and opinions, I recognise that as a me problem rather than having a go at them, because I just think it's unhelpful. But everyone can support their club how they want. There's a massive question about Chelsea in terms of an identity. There's an existential crisis because we learnt one way for 20 years under a different owner. That's gone. There's a new regime, new owners, there's civil war between them, there's a sporting structure, which, by the way, my personal opinion is not necessarily our current sporting structure, but I believe there needs to be sporting directors and there's a long-term planning and a sporting structure for success in the modern game, personally. That's my opinion. I believe there's a body of evidence around Europe for the best, most successful clubs. And whatever, these sporting directors could go tomorrow. I would not cry for them, trust me. But I do think a lot of the ideas are important. I've got nothing really against signing superstar talent for cheaper from around the world. There's probably quite sense in that. And I'm not angry that we spent loads of money on 1.5 billion and we found a way to spend more money by creative accounting. That's actually all good. The bad is just absolutely naive, inexperienced squad building, squad development, a little, let's say naive, arrogant as well, hugely arrogant. I'd positive. I'd say definitely a huge deal of arrogance. And we've got to the even if they're like all in a room somewhere, these guys, the Chelsea directors, owners, hierarchy, even management team like Maresca and co, are saying, right, this isn't good and we've messed up by, we've got some good ideas, but this squad here, it's not good enough. We've made mistakes. There's no seniority. There's profiles missing in the 11. We're missing this, this, and this. So we've learned from this, and we'll get there. We'll fix it. Yeah, we'll move on. But it doesn't take away from the now. What's the expression? The path to hell is paved with good intentions. Is that it? Let me check. Yeah, the biblical proverb, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Yeah, so yes. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to hell. Here we are, roll in. You lose at home to Legia Warsaw. Everyone's miserable and fearful. The truth is, we're down, and boy, how we're down, but we're not out. Chelsea, I mean, I'm going to be real, guys, because why would I not be? It's very unlikely, but there's a tiny, tiny chance that some of these Chelsea players, and, swear warning, grow some bollocks and see it over the line. Yeah. Grow some gonads, beat Fulham, beat Forest, draw with Newcastle, do the necessary games, get a bit of luck with Villa dropping points against a couple of the, top 6 teams, and we somehow squeak 5th. And you win this freaking Conference League. If that all happens, fine. Go again. You're in the Champions League. Get your front of shirt sponsor. Get your striker in the transfer market, yeah. Put your pictures up of Reece James lifting up the Conference League trophy in his captain's armband and say, whew, we fell over the finish line, but my word. Because football changes fast, and we know that. Like I said, December, 2 points off Liverpool. Everyone's going, oh, Chelsea are in the favourites to challenge Liverpool for the title. We've got our Chelsea back singing Maresca's name. That happened in December. And then we've just fallen like a rock. So if they can show it again, and we'll go, oh, okay, they're just a young team. They're just a bunch of kids. They'll settle down, and we won't have these fluctuations of form and confidence. Yeah. But let's be real, it seems unlikely. So let's talk about the manager. My guy's on the ropes, isn't he? There is no sounds or inklings across the footballing news media at large. But he could surely, if we finish 8th, don't win the Conference League, he's got to be sacked. Even if he's their guy. Look, I do think it's important that players reportedly really like Maresca. I do think that's important, because we've all seen what happens when they don't like the manager. But they need to like winning more. They need to like winning the most. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? You need, that's ultimately it, innit? How do I feel about Maresca? Okay, well, I'm going to try and navigate my emotions and sort of find them my feeling as I say it. Firstly, I liked how he started. I liked how he spoke. I liked how he carried himself. Heck, I even quite like the aura about him. Yeah? I thought he feels quite Chelsea. And I'm not thinking like Vialli because we got a bald Italian in, but there was something a little, because we've had a lot of Italians. He's sort of straight shooting. The players did seem to like him. He's come from Guardiola. He's sort of, it was a risk from the Championship win, but it was still like something intriguing winning that trophy with Leicester, and then as soon as he'd left, they'd fallen off a cliff. There was something about it. I was like, yeah, have we done something quite intelligent here? Have we done something quite smart in getting Maresca? I liked it. I did like it. And yeah, I like the innovation. I did like it for a long, long time. I think he's on the ropes now because he's such a dogmatic, philosophical manager. It's his way. He's not going to change. And to be honest, I know he's not young, but he's like a green manager. If he starts freaking out and changing formations, he's done. He's done out here. Yeah, that means he's got no conviction and he's screwed, basically. But I did like him. I did, like I say, think there's an aura, especially compared to Pochettino's a nice guy, but I just watched him now. I was like, and not because he used Tottenham, even though he loves Tottenham. I just never saw him as a proper Chelsea manager. I saw him as a relatively good coach. Probably won't ever be remembered as one of the greats. It was a marriage of convenience. He did wonders for Palmer and Jackson, which is good, but the team itself, the structure was frightening. The training regime was frightening. We got so many injuries, and it felt so un-Chelsea with the breaking records for conceding goals. So Poch wasn't a Chelsea manager for me personally. That's just my opinion. Of course, Graham Potter, I think we all can join hands and say he was definitely not Chelsea. But I felt with Maresca, this could be the guy. Yeah, I did feel like that. But he looks on the ropes. And he shouldn't be. It's 5th place for Champions League. It's the freaking Conference League. The quality of the league. I know everyone talks about the Premier League middle class is stronger than ever. But there's space. There's room to manoeuvre. There's, I guess Man United and Spurs completely off the ball. Even Man City are giving everyone a chance by their standards. Obviously, sacking him now, it's not going to happen. It's pointless. The season ends in like a month. So it's pointless. You just got to see what happens. And there's the Club World Cup as well, man. I think as long as he won't get sacked because he'll get the Conference League final. And again, am I being arrogant assuming we'll be... I'm going to see who we're playing. Right, we are playing in the semi-final the 1st of May and then the 8th of May, the second leg at home. Djurgården. We are playing... Djurgårdens, right? Who the freaking hell are they? Where are they from? Oh, they're Swedish. They are 12th in the Swedish league. I'm gonna cry. I genuinely feel emotional. They are 12th. Oh, there's only been 3 matches played. Okay, so the Swedish league's just started. Djurgården from the Swedish league. Yeah, I dare you. I dare you to not get past Djurgården i football. I freaking dare you, mate. Yeah. So he'll get the Conference League final, and then from there, if we lose the Conference League final, Chelsea fans will just want him out. But what do? They can't. They'll go straight to the Club World Cup, and they'll give him a chance for that. Who else is available? Like again, I keep saying if I wouldn't sack him because I just see more pain and torment from doing it in terms of these young children at Cobham that call Chelsea football players. It would do them no good personally. I think, especially in the moment right now. If you went, we've lined up Xabi Alonso. He's not going to Real Madrid. He's going to go to replace Ancelotti. He's going to Chelsea. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to say no to Ancelotti because I saw him at Everton in the Premier. Bro is so old. Let him retire. Let him go, manage Brazil. I love it. I adore Ancelotti. His Chelsea team was probably the best I've seen 15 years ago. 16 years ago. So let's take a foot off the gas with that. I don't think throwing JT in is going to help anyone. Lampard, let Lampard go and have his career somewhere. Don't bring him back for a 3rd time just as he's finally finding managerial momentum. Even like an Andoni Iraola, I just don't fit. There's very, very few. If Luis Enrique, who provided a dossier to Chelsea a couple of years ago before he went to PSG, if he went, yeah, I'll come because I see the young talent. I see similar potential as what I want to do with PSG here. I like your midfielders, Caicedo and Enzo. I like Cole Palmer. He looks pretty good. If you buy me one sort of, if you nick Bradley Barcola from PSG, I'll come. This is not going to happen, obviously, but obviously I would accept that. Failing that, I don't see much. Obviously, we'll learn much. We'll learn a lot more throughout the rest of the season and the Club World Cup in the summer. But, it's mental. Yeah. It's mental. It's very sad. Oh yeah, I'm on TikTok, by the way. Football Therapy Jan on TikTok. For those of you who like social media. And I guess, if you want to hear me talk about different footballing stuff than Chelsea Pain, Football Yannick, I think the link's automatically in in the top of the description, so you can check that out there. Look after yourselves, eh? Go for a walk, have a nice lunch, do some deep diaphragmatic breathing, you know. Be kind to your family members. Don't let Chelsea bring you down. My word, we are in the trenches. Peace.